Hello and welcome to Nuts the Hobby Table. I'm one of your hosts, Blake, here with my lovely co-host, Mr. Elf Id Oblerone. How the fuck are you, brother? Long time no see.
Yes, it is indeed a long time.
Dude, it's good to know that it's like, I don't know, they say it's like riding a bicycle, but I don't think I could ride a bicycle anymore. But like, you just never forget how to do an intro. It just comes natural. I was scared. I was like, oh no, can I still do it? It's still podcasts. It's fine. It's fine. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, getting on top of it. So that's a nice feeling.
On top of... by it, I hope you mean beautiful women. Or woman. Woman, singular.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but... no, it's just life, man. It's been rough for you and for me. So,
We've been tirelessly trying to get together to make some episodes and content for our listeners. But, shit's been wild. We've both been working a bunch. I've had a few people really close, well, not really close, but a few people close to me pass away recently, which has sort of been shit. But, at a certain point, you gotta get, as you said, on top of it and keep going forward and get some fucking episodes out for those ravenous listeners of ours.
Oh, yeah. It's, we've definitely been getting threat messages about people being very angry with us not putting out.
I feel like
new
you've
content.
been getting threats. No one's ballsy enough to threaten me. Like,
it's my mom. It's my mom causing the threats.
Hi, Mumblerone.
Oh,
that's funny. You know what? I can see that. Your mom is our biggest fan. That's fact.
Yeah, as always.
As always. It's always the mom being the biggest fan.
Yeah, I think your mom is my biggest fan too.
My mom loves you, bro. She reckons you have the nicest voice, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine until you gotta listen to the cunt chuckle for hours. Like, Jesus, Shit, man. So what have you been doing? What's new? Talk me through it.
Oh, man. You like...
Not even just hobby-wise, just life,
Oh, man. It's just been a lot. Like, winter time comes around. It's usually me feeling sad time.
Nipples.
Yeah. Exactly. Lots of polar bear nipples to get through. Fighting it off. Just now, overnight, it fucking snowed 20 centimeters again. It was like, yay, thanks.
Jesus Christ. That's something. I feel like, though, you're missing the opportunity to make a lot of free Slurpees. Like, you got the snow outside, just get some flavoring, man. Just get it going.
I try to pee as much as possible outside, so I have some yellow snow to eat, but I haven't really experimented with the taste yet. It seems like the yellow snow, it feels a little bit off. So don't try the yellow snow.
Depends if you like lemon or not, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, people usually say it could be beer, but like 9 out of 10 chances if it's yellow snow, it's not beer.
Everyone knows.
Scientifically proven.
Everyone knows yellow snow cones are overrated. You got to go for the black ones underneath the cars. That's the good stuff. That's how you get superpowers, kids. That's cool. So you survived the winter then? That's good to hear.
Yeah, hopefully it's soon done with this winter. So
have you done the whole, like, I don't know, I keep seeing it on the internet, and, like, I kind of want to try it, but it's not cold enough here. Where you get, like, bricks, and you put a candle in between them, and you put, like, a flower pot on top, like a terracotta one, that, like, warms your house. Have you seen that?
I've seen it, but what we do is we have these, like, in the old days, they had, like, these small, fuck, what are they called? I can show you one. I got one in here.
Alright, you show me. He's on a quest, everyone. You can't see. But just
it's like a lantern with like a glass vase on top of it. And you just have like a flame there. So.
That's very bougie.
It is. It's really cool.
It's like
it heats the room up really well, so...
It's like a Bunsen burner, but less scientific.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like my house would not last a day. It would be burned down so quick.
Oh, yeah.
I am banned from fire.
Yeah,
cool.
But, otherwise, just life's been shit. So, work's been a lot. And... Not else to do. Like, usually I just come home and feel so tired, I just look into the wall or fall asleep straight away, so.
Yeah, I feel like you've been pretty burnt out for a pretty fucking long time, man. Like, I have patches, but you've been there for a while, man, so hopefully some relief soon. Hopefully you feel better soon. You seem like you're doing a bit better.
I do. I've started painting again this week, and I was so into it, just... No Discord or anything, no external stuff, just me, some music or a podcast, and just paint again, Get back into it. I do know
a good podcast. With two very handsome hosts.
Is it Lorehammer?
No, it's Grimwall.
oh yeah, good, perfect.
Although those boys from Lorehammer, woo.
Oh boy!
Fuck. I miss those lads. I miss Mark and Eric. They're good lads.
Yeah, I miss them too. Yeah, no, but I've been painting again. And I've also been building my Wing Gundam.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I like that.
So I only have some stickers left, some panel lining, and the clear coat. Maybe some weathering.
Yeah, I love that. That's real cool.
It's my inside of the house project. So when I'm in the hobby room, I usually paint. So
yeah, that's cool. That's good though, because it's like when you feel like doing something hobby related, but you don't feel like missioning it out to your hobby room. Yeah. Like you're just a bit low on energy. You can just sit at your table or wherever you are, like your little Dobby cubby house you have. Your Harry Potter house, under the stairs, and you can just build your gun, and that's cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah. Something else I've been totally getting into is, a new hobby, sim racing. Jesus Christ. Why?
I hope you're better at sim racing than you are at Forza Horizon.
I want to say yes, but then I remember the last time I played, and that didn't go well.
See, Obi, no one's given you the proper, what's the word? Like, the proper reason to win yet. What they gotta tell you is that there's a xenomorph in the car behind you, and it's going to eat your ass if you don't move quicker. That'll get you around that Nürburgring, I promise.
Yes. Oh, but I'm trying to get my co-workers into it as well. Like one guy, he got a PlayStation 5 that he even packed up yet. So, and he's like, "Oh, I kind of want to play Gran Turismo with a wheel." It's like, "Oh, I bought a wheel, but I haven't bought a chair yet." He's like, "Okay, but tell me what you buy because I want to buy a chair before I buy the wheel." It's like, "What? Okay." You kind of need both, but alright. Well,
look, man. Let me know what controller you're using, because I really want to buy a controller before a console or a game.
Exactly.
What a nupty.
Or you buy the game before you buy the console.
What a nupty. I'm just gonna sit it on my shelf and stare at it until I get the other components.
Exactly.
Let's go. Nah, that's funny. Nice.
Yeah. But, honestly, I haven't hobbied too much, but I'm close to finishing my Terminators, finally. So,
you know what? That's cool, man. I will say, though, just quickly, not cutting you off, but, you haven't hobbied much, but that's because hobbies are a thing you do when life allows. Right? Yeah. I just want to say it for our listeners, too. Anyone that's struggling, with their mental health or with the day-to-day of, the grind, don't feel guilt for not painting. Don't feel guilt for not being in your hobby. If your achievement for the day is after you finish work, you manage to put a load of dishes in the dishwasher and actually ate a proper meal, like, congratulations, good work. Like, we're proud of you, man. Because, like, that is huge for someone who's struggling. So, like,
Yeah.
I just don't want people getting into this mentality of, like, oh, I'm not painting every day. Bad me. Like, shit happens, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, yeah, I don't paint for months at a time, but, like, I don't get down on myself about it, because I'm like, I have shit going on in my brain, and I have a lot going on in life, and, like, sometimes it just doesn't happen, but when I do get into it, I go hard. And the important thing is that when you have that time, you enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's definitely the thing that I've been struggling with lately. It's just getting home, doing the normal day work, and then coming home, making food, and cleaning up a little bit. And it wrecks you. The moment I sit down, I'm done. I don't get up again.
Yeah, see, the thing I've been struggling with lately is, like, just being a nighttime worker, because those who don't know, I work exclusively nighttime, and so I never see my partner unless it's on days off, you know? You don't know Tara, the one that likes to roast me on the podcast, I don't see her unless it's a Sunday or a Monday, and, like, that's cool, but, like, most couples, when they do housework and things like that, they do it after dinner together, right? Like, you made dinner, then you go in and wash the dishes together. We're not eating at the same time all week. The only days that we share meals and stuff like that is on a weekend. So it's like, all week, our housework is sort of like falling by the wayside, falling by the wayside, falling by the wayside. Then by the weekend, it's like, well, now we have a big job to do instead of a small job.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just tough, man. And then balancing that on top of, like, social engagements, on top of, like, other shit you have to do. Like, it's hard, man.
Yeah,
it really is. So, like, if I get time to hobby, I'm happy with that. And honestly, a lot of the time, my hobby is just sitting down playing a video game. That's what chills me out. I can do that after work. Minimal impact on my mental. It's like, come home and fight for democracy of Super Earth. The Helldivers. Y'all know who you are. Do that. And hit the hay and go to work again. That's most of my week,
Yeah.
So, it's a tough one. But it's okay.
Yes.
If you're, are you done with your catch up there? Your quick catch
I
up?
think so. Yeah.
Because I ticked off a life goal the other week. Not many people could say this, but I had a life goal that I did not think I would ever complete, and I ticked that bitch off my list. I saw Pantera live.
Is that the boy band?
Yes, those Tempura guys. No, but they headline Knotfest here in Australia. And for those that don't know, basically, I didn't think I'd ever see Pantera live because the guitarist and the drummer both passed away. But now they had the best friend of the guitarist, who's a phenomenal guitarist as well, Zach Wilde, from Ozzy Osbourne's band. They had the drummer from Anthrax, Charlie Benante, who was also very good friends with Vinnie Paul. And it was great. But man, let me tell you, I'm not built for being in pits for 6 hours no more. 6 hours, brother. We got there during Wage War. And slowly made our way to the front, set by set by set. And by Pantera, I was on the barrier. And best show ever, man. I got a guitar pick, or a bass pick from the bassist, Rex Brown. So I'm like,
nice.
That's going. I'm going to actually undo the trim. No, I'm going to undo the the electronics cavity on my Dimebag guitar that's signed by Phil and put it inside there. So it's just like one super piece of memorabilia, you know?
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So, I achieved that, and I was in the rain for the entire day. So, like, it wasn't cold by any means. It was about 18 degrees Celsius, but rain all day. And let me tell you, nothing is without cost. I saw Pantera, but goddamn was I sick this week. You can probably still hear it. You know, my nose sounds like I fucking had it broken. I haven't recently, so it's, it's one of those. But I fucking did it. I saw Pantera.
Hell fucking yeah.
Hell fucking yeah, dude. And it's like, even you who aren't into Pantera, you were like, "That's cool." Like, I'm happy
Yeah,
for
man.
you.
No, exactly.
So
Good stuff.
I had to share that. Before we go any further, though, and I will continue with what I've been up to. But do you want to tell the guys what the episode is about? Because we completely forgot to do that.
Yeah, we kind of did. It's been kind of a question that a lot of people have been asking throughout the years, probably, of me doing miniatures, because...
Happy second birthday to us, by the way.
Oh, yeah. That's been a while away.
Yeah. That's how old we are as a podcast. We forget our age now.
Yeah. It comes and goes, you know. You don't want to mention it anymore because it's
old.
been so long. Yeah.
So long. But yeah, as you say.
Yeah, this episode is about LEDs because, you know, I guess some people might have seen my miniatures, especially my knights, which I have mounted many LEDs in. And I've been slowly doing the same to dreadnoughts and to the Space Marine tanks and whatever I can get my greebly little hands on.
Greebly?
So, yeah, so LEDs and possibly even some electronics today inside miniatures.
Electronics are good to cover in general too, because some of these basic skills we're going to go over, like if you learn how to do them, soldering, things like that, they can also help you, like, if you want to repair or modify retro game consoles and things like that. Like, they're very valuable skills to have. So,
exactly.
I've definitely got some gaps in my knowledge. I'm not an electromancer, but I have basic knowledge of these things too. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
but it's just a bunch of small skills to... They'll even help you in real life, you know, so... Well, real life. This is real life. Last I checked, but
not many people know this, but a soldering iron makes a fantastic stabbing weapon.
Yes,
yeah.
Even better if it's warm.
Much better if it's warm.
All right, you want to continue with your
I will continue.
Lately hobbies?
I will. Snap back to reality. We are calling this episode Resurgance. / the LED episode, because it's been a while, and I feel like me and Obi are sort of these dusty old mummies / corpses that have dug themselves up out of the ground and resurfaced. So it's a resurgence. We're back. Get ready for the Knights of the Hobby Table crack attack. We're going down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, bud. But no. So what have I been up to? Well, it's a good fucking question. I was gonna get a shitload of models painted on my holidays, and then I had a whole heap of stuff happen. I didn't feel like painting models. In fact, I felt like selling all my models. I didn't, but I wanted to. Just shut down. I'm good again now. I want to get back to it, but we'll get back to that. What I have been doing is playing around with my fish tanks a bunch. Right? So, those that remember my African cichlid fish tank, the Saga, where they kept dying on me.
Yeah.
Because there was some type of parasite. What I ended up doing eventually, the 4 remaining African cichlids that were there, I rehomed them to the local aquarium, like the local fish shop. Because, you know, they have better access to basically everything. Like, drugs they need for the fish, like that sort of stuff. They're better than me, you know? Yeah. The whole shop full of fish experts versus one fish keeper. So, I gave them over to them. Hopefully they're living healthy, happy lives. I gave the catfish in there a round of, like, meds and that. You know, checked on him and shit. He was fine. He's got no issues. So he's now in the big 6-foot tank with the other homies. So little Ollie lives on, the spotted catfish. That tank has now been drained. The 4-foot one. We don't like it because it has a curvy front, like the edges are curved. And it's just not my style. So I'm actually giving that off to another friend of mine, who's... You know how I said I'm a really bad influence on my friend's wife, Obi?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I call her my sister Hannah, who does listen, actually. Shout out to her. I'm a very bad influence. Not only is she getting into all the same music as me and coming to metal gigs, but she loves fish tanks now as well. So, sorry, Luke. Your missus is getting a free fish tank to shove in your house. So, deal with it. Then, basically, we have a 36-litre tank on our kitchen countertop. And we have a better in there. I don't know if you remember this from ages ago, but we rescued him. After the other one got caught behind a heater and died. We rescued him from Tara's old work. He's now dying of old age. That's how long it's been. Because he was at least 6 months to a year old when we got him. They only lived for 2 to 5 years. Yeah. And we tested all the water parameters, all that sort of stuff, and it's fine. We went to the aquarium, we asked them, they're like, how old is he? We're like, oh, this old. They're like, old age, dude. Like, so he's having a tough time. So he's not long for this world. While we were at the aquarium that day, we saw that Siamese whiting fish, or betters, I'm going to call them betters because I hate the name Siamese whiting fish. Hate it. But they were $5. Because they were getting rid of the last of their shipment before they got a new one from Thailand. So we bought one, a little red one, tiny little dude, named him Scallywag, right? So he's in his own little tank next to the other one, whose name is Bootstrap Bill, because we like to name them after pirates usually. Before that, the guy before that was Captain Jack, so... Anyway, so he's in the tank next to Booty while he's still, with us, but he's not going to be long for this world. Scallywag's adorable. He's a little cute red one, probably like the size of my pinky finger, maybe even smaller. Lots of personality, really active. I'm at work 2 days later. Actually, I shouldn't say I'm at work, but I'm at work, whatever. I finished work, and I saw that they had a competition at the same store I just bought Scallywag from.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, new shipment coming in from Thailand, tag your better buddy, and tell us what type of fish you'd like. And so I commented that I would love an alien better, which are these really cool looking versions of them. And I never win anything. Like, ever. Right? Like, there could be 2 people in the contest and I'll still get second or third, Like, every time. And I fucking won.
Nice.
This contest. And I'm like, that's great. Like, that's really cool. And basically, we got to go to the shop and pick a fish. Any fish at this fresh shipment. We didn't have a spare fish tank. So I go out, I buy another tank, $180, $200 plus heater, plus gravel, plus all the shit. We get there today to pick up the fish. And they're like, oh, so you're going to pick 2? We're like, wait, what? They're like, well, that's why you had to tag your better buddy. Because you've both got a fish. So, like, unless you guys live together, I'm like, well, yeah, we do. They're like, well, still, like, you grab 2 fish. And we're like, fuck. So I jump online, I order another fish tank to collect on the way home. And so we're here with this bag of fish, like 2 better, a shitload of plants, another fish tank, 2 heaters, the whole thing. And, like, my whole afternoon was setting up these fish tanks. And, like, normally with bigger fish tanks especially or whatever, you don't want to do them uncycled. But, like, betters live in a cup a lot of the time, which is horrible for them. But my point is, 1 better in a 40-litre tank nearly, as long as you don't overcrowd that tank and you do your water changes, it's going to cycle itself, right? Like, it's going to be fine. It's not an issue. So we set that up. We got some plants in there. So there's some biological shit going on already. That's good. Hopefully they're all good. But we ended up with what are called koi betta. So they have colours similar to koi fish. They are in the pets tab of the Discord if anyone's curious. But not only are they koi betta, but they are giant koi betta. So they are like 2.5 times the size of Scallywag. Like, they could probably eat the poor fucker.
Oh.
And we set them up. The tank's not only going to get better. We just had minimal escaping stuff today. I'm going to get some nice driftwood for mine. Tara needs some more plants for hers, But we wanted to just be good little homes until we get some friends for them. And long and short of it, though, I was talking to Tara, and I'm like, okay, we normally name all of our betters after pirates. But with these guys being koi betta and looking very Japanese, I don't feel like that's, like, the done thing. I'm like, so I feel like we should give them cool, like, names, like Japanese names. And we've been watching Naruto. So Tara's like, why don't we give the Naruto names? So hers is Shikamaru, and mine is Itachi. So, anyone that's watched Naruto, that should mean something. Itachi is a beast. And if you haven't watched Naruto, bro, go and watch Naruto.
I haven't.
You should.
I haven't.
It's great. One of the best series of all time. Fun.
Thank you.
But yeah, so been doing that. That's happening. The fish tank I resealed. I did reseal it on my holidays. It's currently outside filled with water, and we're going to see if it still has water in it in a couple of days. If it does, Operation Big Fucking Planted Tank, go ahead.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it's cool. Lots of fish tank stuff. I've realised that that's sort of my happy place with hobbying. I like Warhammer and stuff like that, but because my missus is into fish tanks as well, I feel really, fulfilled working on that hobby. And, you get lots of little friends with fins to hang out with, so that's cool. That's what I've been up to in the hobbies, man.
Nice.
Oh, and hell diving with the boys. If you haven't seen hell diving,
I've heard of that,
but you've heard of Super Earth?
Yeah, I've seen the memes. I've heard about the game, but I just haven't played it because
it is great fun.
Yeah, I guess. I assume.
If one were to play a game that was not Assetto Corsa, it should be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and delete Forza Horizon then.
Well, I mean, you should play that still, but you got a long time to catch up to me.
Well, I don't play games as much as you do, so.
I haven't played the game in months. You've had ages. I loved you though. Hey, you're like, hold on, I'm broken Forza. I got $5,000. I'm like, let me see how much I have. 15 million. Like, okay. 700 cars, 15 million credits.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that's not me.
Alright,
cool.
Well, let's get on to the actual meat and potatoes of the episode.
Yeah.
I think. Now that you've heard us rant for a while.
I think that we really need to start cooking. That's what the kids say lately.
Oh, let him cook.
Yeah. Alright, but what do we need to cook? First, we need a skillet, a pan, some butter.
Capacitors, resistors, microchips.
Yes.
Is that what we're cooking?
Yes, chips.
Of the micro kind?
Yes. Alright, but what do we actually need for putting LEDs or any kind of electronics in miniatures, really?
Alright, well, I think that I'm going to free fire this one and take a guess. I think the first thing you need is good hobby equipment. So nippers, exactly. Maybe a pin vise, things like that. Am I on the right track? You're the electromancer, so you're leading today.
Yeah. I think to start off, these are probably basic things that you'll already have. For example, the hobby knife. Take some fresh blades always, because the newer they are, the better they're gonna cut, and the less chance you'll have of cutting yourself. Always a good way to go. The knife, you can use it mostly to just like score out the holes where you're mounting the LEDs in just a little bit more, and take off a little bit material here to adjust for where you're putting the LED or whatever kind of stuff that you're putting. I suppose
hobby files would be quite good for that too, right? Like once you make your initial incision, you can work a lot of that out with the file as well if you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Another thing to route, for example, wires or LEDs or whatever, is a pin vise with drills.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I start off with a smaller drill just to make sure that I get a pilot hole going all the way through. And then I just start out drilling bigger and bigger until I have the size that I need.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It takes a little bit more time, but it's more precise. And you won't end up with
don't
blowout.
full send like I would. Because I would just be like, that looks good, fucking yeet.
Yeah. It will also cause the plastic to blow out and tear more detail out than it needs to. It's better that way if you just go small and expand. Yeah. Go slow. But yeah, some different different sizes from 0.5 millimeters all the way up to 3 millimeters. Usually that's what you will probably end up using most, but you can always use bigger ones just for easier if you want to drill bigger holes for something, for more wires or whatever you're putting in, like if you're putting a motor to make the Gatling gun turning. I've seen people do that. That's also a thing that you could do.
I like
but
it.
yeah,
so,
pin vise and drills.
Stretching your ears, really, right? Like you start real small.
Exactly.
You just go up gauge by gauge so you don't fucking destroy your ear.
Exactly.
Or your butthole, I guess, too. I don't know. But yeah.
If you're into that, sure.
Don't break your butthole. Step it up slowly.
Exactly.
So says Obleron.
Yeah.
I think another... Sorry, you're good.
Yeah, I think that you could take... Yeah, you take
I was going to say, so I think another good thing, even outside of electronics, any type of kit bashing or kit modifying, really good to have yourself a good quality cutting mat, right? It doesn't have to be super fucking crazy, just a basic hobby store one. But, man, I am the worst for just putting my models on random shit, be like, stab, fix. I end up fucking ruining things all the time. Just get a fucking cutting board.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm a barbarian, naturally. Like, that's my life class. I'm stuck with it, this roleplay of life. So, don't be a barbarian. Have a little bit more finesse and get yourself a cutting board. They're not expensive. And another good thing is you can use it as a palette tool if you're painting on it. So, there's that.
Yeah, exactly. Good all the way around.
All the way around.
Yeah. Something else that you'll probably have laying around is your wire nippers. However, I would say don't use nippers that are meant for plastic to cut copper. Just so have some specific ones to cut wires or electronic legs or whatever.
Do you want me to
buy
help
one?
The soul? Do you know how we used to clip wires when I was a kid? Well, not a kid, I should say teenager. So, if we didn't use our teeth to strip the wires, we would get a lighter, like a cigarette lighter, and melt the plastic, and then yank it off with our fingers really fast.
Oh my god.
Get some wire nippers. We're adults now.
Yeah.
Good
proper
plastic
tools.
are bad. Yeah. Don't strip wires with the teeth, because teeth are expensive to fix.
Yeah. Also,
wires nippers are not.
Exactly. But you did mention a lighter, and a lighter and shrink tube.
Oh, is this for the crack pipe? Oh, right.
No. Shrink tube, sorry.
Shrink tube? Right.
Yeah.
Is that like YouTube with psychiatrists?
Maybe. No, what this is...
Quit the podcast, we're becoming psychiatrists.
Let's call it shrink tube.
Shrink tube. Yeah, so is shrink tube that shit that's like shrinky dinks, but it goes around the wiring? Yeah?
Exactly. So anytime you solder together a part, you want to make sure that you isolate that, because you'll have a power source going through them, and if you cross two exposed wires, you're probably going to end up with some issues.
Yeah, so at best, you'll fry your components. At worst, you'll melt shit.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, could be pretty dramatic on the battlefield if you think about it. You know, your dreadnought gets shot and then, like, starts fucking flaming and shit. But sort of a one-time trick, so just insulate your circuits, guys.
Exactly.
Cool. Alrighty, so the next one we have down is clear UV resin and a UV torch. Now, Obi's written this bullet points here. I'm not the guy to write the things. But I'm going to guess this is for, like, if you, say, seat an LED somewhere, you want to make, like, a lens over it or something like that? Is that what it's for? Or to, like, attach it?
Yeah, exactly.
This
is a trick that I picked up later, after I've done a lot of stuff already. But just UV resin, after you've mounted your LED, just to make, like, a separate... Because usually they're dome-shaped LEDs, and if you insert them somewhere, sometimes it'll look a little weird. So having just a clear coat of UV resin over it will protect it from paint and everything, and then just, use the UV torch and harden it.
Could you use, like, a more cloudy UV resin, like a frosted one, and use it as a diffuser?
Yeah.
Like, is that a thing as well? Like,
You
that
could,
would act like
definitely.
a diffuser on an LED, right?
Yeah, but you could also just paint over it with an ink, so...
That's true, but I just meant, like, say if it was, like, like a Zaku's fucking face shield thing, and you wanted to make that, like, whole thing a certain blue or something, you could sort of do that, right? Like, that would diffuse.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool, okay. Good
Definitely
knowledge. I like
exactly. So, to connect your wire to your LED or whatever component you're soldering, you're going to need a soldering iron. Ideally one that you can control the temperature, but, just go to your local hobby store and get the cheapest one you can get. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. That's what I have. But if you have the coin, spend a little bit more. Otherwise, just go with cheap.
That's one of those tools that, like, you don't need to spend top dollar, but getting a decent one will make your work easier.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to replace the battery on one of my Game Boy games the other day, Pokemon Crystal. And my god, my soldering iron was giving me hell. It wouldn't heat up at the tip, only part way up the shaft, for lack of a better word. So trying to, desolder a battery, I ended up making a total mess of it. And when I resoldered it, the battery doesn't even work. So I'm going to get a new soldering iron and try again.
Yeah.
Eventually.
That might just be your tip that's caked in stuff.
Yeah.
So what you can do is just scrape it off.
Yeah.
Scrape it off or file it off.
That is the tip that I was using on my 3D prints, so it's definitely caked in shit. Yeah.
That's probably
it. Yeah. There you go, see? Done. But get a good soldering iron with multiple tips.
Yeah, you can even get ones that have like a flat tip, for example, for your 3D printing, instead of having the pointy tip.
There you go.
Yeah. And to go together with this, some solder with flux in it. It just makes it makes the solder flow a little bit easier onto it.
Yeah, you can get soldering wire with the flux in it though, right? Like flux core.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much better for beginners.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I will add to this as well. Get yourself some solder wick. Or solder sucker, like the braid. Because if you fuck up, you want to be able to absorb that old shitty solder and go again.
Yeah.
So while you're there,
I have one of those pens that suck up with a vacuum. That's also one that you can use. If you buy like a cheap set, usually it comes with like a little mount and that sucker thingy. But the wick is really good if you're soldering on electronic boards. Works a lot better for that.
Sweet. Good to know.
Yes. And a final tool I would say is not really required, but it will help you a lot. It's a pair of helping hands. It's like one of those little mounting thingies that has like 2 clamps on it and usually like a magnifying glass. so you can see it a little bit better where you're soldering, and then just mount your stuff together. So you just have your soldering iron in one hand and your soldering in the other hand.
Way easier than trying to hold components.
Exactly.
What they don't tell you that when you're holding one end of a resistor and one end of a fucking LED, and you're applying a lot of heat, you will get burned. They don't tell you that.
Yeah. It makes life a lot easier if you don't have to jiggle an LED and the solder and the wire, and basically it gives you 2 extra hands to hold things, and it makes life a lot easier.
Actually, it gives you 2 extra crab claws, and everyone wants an extra crab claw.
Slanesh, we meet again.
No, claw pluck. You know Futurama? When they challenge each other to claw block? Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. I'm not joking. To this day, if my little brother comes home and I shout claw block at him, we will both drop down into crab position and start, circling each other.
Okay.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, it's a real thing. Anyway, back on track.
Alright.
You need adhesives.
Yeah.
Right?
After you've put usually what you can do is make sure you clear the area so that you can fit the LED, and then you glue together your parts, because after all, usually mounting these things require assembly after putting it and then mounting it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little tedious little process that it takes a little bit time. So glue, you're probably gonna need either super glue and plastic glue just to glue it back together.
Yeah, look, if you're any sort of fucking hobbyist, you'll have that anyway.
Exactly.
Literally super glue right next to me.
Yeah.
Right next to me. But you'll notice it's not super, it's super.
Super! What's that?
Like
Japanese?
a Supra, Is that a super?
Is that super, yeah? Ah.
Yeah, so always have good adhesive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. I think the important thing to remember when you're doing stuff like this, anytime you're doing electronics and things like that, or any job really, even if you're painting models, there's always consumables involved. So, you're not just gonna, have a roll of solder for your whole life. Unless you only use it twice, but you get my point, it's consumable. Like a rattle can of undercoat, you go through stuff, so I think it's good if we give you guys a good idea of what you're gonna go through. So you can go, stock up in certain ways if you're gonna be doing all of these sorts of projects,
Yeah, exactly. Usually what I do is before I just take a look at the model and kind of just calculate up what I need, and then just buy 2 extra of, if you're buying 5 LEDs, just buy 2 extra, just because, chances are you're going to ruin 2 of them before you actually get them inside where you need it to be. It's definitely the case.
If you know you're doing a few LEDs, just find a cheap lot of 30 or something and just buy them.
Yeah.
And be okay, cool, we're good now. Whatever I need has an LED in it,
Yeah. Usually I buy what I need just to not have too many stuff laying around because I'm a hoarder.
Dude, I don't know where the fuck they went, but I bought a whole little packet of LED filaments ages ago when we spoke about this. I don't know where they went. They're somewhere in my house. I'm just not sure where. I never opened them. They arrived in the eBay package. I was like, oh, sweet. I put it somewhere. Don't fucking know where they're going. Not a clue. Not a clue. Anyway.
Yeah. Cool. So to start off with...
what consumables do we need, Overrun? Tell us.
Wire. Either copper wire
Why
or...
do you like this?
Aluminium. This is kind of just to lead your... Usually you can't solder your LED straight up onto your battery. You need some wires in between. What I suggest is having 2 different colors also, because it will make your life easier identifying which is the positive and the negative. What I usually do is
the colors don't matter as long as they are two different colors.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
what usually you'll have find in 24 volts applications is your black will be a neutral, so nothing, and red will be danger, so you'll have your positive there on the red color.
Okay. Yeah, copy.
My suggestion would also be to buy solid core wire. That means that it's, instead of having multiple thinner cores of wire, it'll be one massive core. This means that you can bend your wire in where you exactly need it to be and just dab a glue and it'll be stuck there in the shape that you want. If you have this multiple core wire, it will usually be very flexible and it will just wiggle around. It'll never hold a shape.
It's when it looks like a paintbrush, right? Where there's just like a heap of little copper strands. Like speaker wire, right?
Yeah.
But you're talking about electronics, which is just like one little bit of copper that's like...
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen people make basic circuits with that and it looks far easier than like the other really fiddly
because you
shit.
can, you can bend it into shape, like exactly, and it will never change.
Yeah.
So,
and also, like, you don't have to worry about, like, when you strip the wire, twisting those cables so they're braided a bit, or tinning them, like, with the solder beforehand. Like, you don't need to worry about that. You can just go, solder straight to it, because it's a solid piece.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Way easier.
Good advice. You were talking about aluminium wire. Is that the same thing? Like, I don't really think I've ever come across aluminium wire in my...
Aluminium wire, usually aluminium wire is for bigger cables, as in higher power electronics or electrics.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's tin, but usually will be copper.
Okay.
And a good size to work with that's not too big and not too small will be 0.6 millimeters or 24 gauge for you Americans. I guess that they use that measurement instead of millimeters.
Isn't it millimeters? Like, I feel like it's more scientific.
It feels a little bit easier to... Let's not get into another Americans do things the worst way discussion, because we could be here all day.
Extra freedom with your wire.
Alright, moving on.
Alright, we need some batteries, like your mum's vibrator.
Charge me up, baby.
Charge me up. You know, ironically, Andy's mum in Toy Story, her toys are named the same as his toys, Buzz and Woody. But you need batteries, man. So, you can get like the little coin-looking batteries, like what's in a Pokemon cartridge. You can use those;
Yep.
they're really good. You can use, I think, even smaller ones, right? Like the real little guys. If
You
you're
can,
the base of like a commander or something. You wouldn't get much longevity, but for one LED, you might be alright. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know the Gundam LED modules. They have those little coins in them, like little coin ones.
Yeah. Like the hearing aid batteries. I think that's
almost. They're like the little guys, little round ones. They look really tasty, actually.
Just like the old pills.
That's right, exactly. I guess the other thing as well, you could do 9-volt batteries as well if you're doing like something a bit more advanced or something a bit more bulky. Like if you were doing the the electronics for a night, and you wanted to have a large piece of hollow rubble on the fucking base hiding the 9-volt battery, you could do that quite easily. Lift up the hollow piece that's there from magnets, turn it on, turn it off, like very easy.
Yeah. For my nights, I use the 9-volt battery, and surprisingly enough, you can hide it inside the carapace. It fits.
Really?
Yeah. It was really tight. Yeah. It was really tight. But it required a little bit of trimming inside to make it fit perfectly. And then I have the battery holder, or with wires already attached to it. Yeah. You could just all the wires come basically in on top of that battery, and then you can just fold it all nice and clean.
I guess you could also do double A's and triple A's as well, right? Like, if it's a more accessible battery. Like, some people might have access issues with them or whatever, I don't know. But, like, if you want to have that, like, little frame that the battery's going with the 2 wires coming off an on-off switch, you can find somewhere to hide it.
Yeah.
It's whatever imaginative you feel at the time, yeah?
Exactly. Finding where to hide it is usually the funny bit. Because, for example, on my Land Raider, I made one of the doors. You can usually glue it on or down. But one of the hatches, I made it so that it holds the 9-volt battery in it with some sprue.
Smart.
And then just used magnets to take off the hatch and put it back on.
I saw that. It was very well done.
You'll never notice if nobody will point it out for you, and it's just magnificent. I love it.
I love it. It's good shit.
Yeah. I think batteries are usually what is going to determine what you will use for LEDs and the rest of the electronics, or, well, better way is assess what battery you need from what you want to do. For example, in my nights, I have about let's see, quickly count, about 8 to 9 LEDs in one of them, and just you can't run that with coin cells. You're gonna have to stack so many of them; it's just gonna be uneasy to work with. So it's better to use 9-volt or AA batteries. It just makes it easier. And if you want to do like a rotating Gatling gun, for example, with a motor, also just use a 9-volt battery. You'll have more than enough power to run that at least for a couple of years. Well, depending on how long you put the LEDs on, of course. If you put them on for one night.
Broken Xbox controller, and still has motors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. I don't think there's any more I can say about that. The coin cell batteries are quite handy because you can hide them under the bases of your miniatures and just lead the wires up into the model. So there's always ways to do it, and with our next point, the battery holders, you can actually incorporate it into the scenery of your base a little bit.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, if you go night, you think about the size of a night. Like, you could put a small garden shed on there, or a big block of cement that's stepping on, hollow that out, and that's just magnetized on. Like, that's not a hard thing to do.
Make it look like a pair of barrels or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or put a pile of dead heretics there. You know?
Yeah. Trenches.
Works for me. Trenches. Under an ammo crate.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you can see space for it, you can probably fit it in there anyway. So not a big issue. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Next point will probably be the big one here. The LEDs themselves. There's a lot of different types of LEDs. I think the biggest differentiator will be the size of them. And if you're using 2-pin or 3-pin LEDs.
Yep.
You want to know what the difference is?
Yeah, tell me, man. Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me, bro.
The 2-pin is usually one color. The 3-pin, you use the 3rd pin to decide what color you want with changing the voltage on it.
Right, cool.
So usually any regular LED will have just a negative and a positive.
Yeah.
3 volts, 1.5 volts, whatever. So you can power that. And the 3-pin will have a constant voltage and a voltage that will change depending on which color you want.
So is that, say, like, you'd run, like, a separate resistor to that particular leg?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then, like, if it switches
imagine
to that,
imagine
circuit,
imagine a volume knob on that. That's basically what will change voltage as well. A volume knob is kind of the same. It's like a changeable resistor. So it, depending on where you have the volume knob, it will send out back a different voltage. So you just have that in between. So that you can just select which color you want depending on where it is in on the switch.
Right.
Or,
Cool. But I've also seen a bunch of different types of LEDs as well. You can get ones that are like real tiny little motherfuckers, and you can get like the ones that are sort of like the classic like big bulbs that you saw on everything in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then like you have like filament and stuff like that these days as well. Like, is that very much just that you have to decide on your use case or like what you want to use?
Yeah. What do you want to use? What you can fit, I think, would be the biggest determinator of what you're gonna use. What I've used with my stuff is usually just the 3mm ones, but there are even smaller ones. And I've seen people put LEDs into Space Marine helmets. So where there's a will, there's a way. So I haven't attempted it yet. It would be really cool to try it, but I don't think I would have. I'd probably have to buy a whole set of new LEDs just to give it a try. But it's definitely possible, you know.
Another really good one to bring out. If you just want those battlefield flame flickering effects, Obi pointed this out to me, you can buy LED tea lights.
Yeah.
You can pull those fuckers apart and then put your cotton wool on top with your ink wash and whatever, and that becomes a battlefield fire.
Yeah.
So, do that. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
You mentioned something with the flickering tea lights.
Yeah.
You also have these kind of effects built in without a circuit board in some LEDs. Your different kind of effects is the constant on LED, which is just always shining, no changes. Then you have an LED that's flickering, and that one will simulate kind of like a fire. So it will go brighter and darker and brighter and darker, but really irregularly. It will mimic a flame basically if you use orange and red. So real good. Then you also have one that's flashing. I mean, flickering, flashing. It's kind of similar, but they're a little bit different. The flashing one will gradually go up and down in like a steady pattern, up, down, down. So that's kind of the big difference between those flickering and flashing. Then one more option I've seen is a color changing one. So that one cycles through all the colors.
Right, so it's a full RGB spectrum, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that one's,
I imagine they are not easy to find and quite expensive for an LED.
Nah. It's not
for
expensive.
an LED, I mean. No?
Nah.
How much you pay for one of those? $4?
Nah, not even. Less than $1.
Not even? Oh, maybe not in Australia, mate. We don't have we
No.
got sticks and stones here for fighting spiders, not much else. You know? The luxuries, they elude us.
Let's see. Color changing, 60 pence.
Alright, well, they're cheap.
Yeah.
Put away your feet pics, guys. We're ready to sell them today.
Yeah, so that's really there's a lot of, and you mentioned also these filament lights. There's also two different ones in the filament ones. There's the ones that are a steady bar, and the flexible ones that will, they're basically like imagine a shoelace but with light in it, I would say.
That's amazing. I like light shoelaces.
Yeah, that would be cool to put in some shoes.
So, the next thing you're going to need is resistors if you're running a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to try and explain what I think a resistor does, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, say if your 9-volt battery is putting out 9 volts, as it does,
Mm-hmm.
but you have LEDs, and then how much is an LED? Like 1 volt, 2 volt?
Anything from 2 to 3.5 volts.
So say you have a 3 volt LED. You would need a 6 volt resistor in there. Is that correct? To knock that power from 9 volts down to something that won't burn the LED out?
Exactly.
Because if you send 9 volt to a 3 volt LED, it's like supercharging it. It's just going to explode basically after a very short life.
It will work once.
Yeah, but if you have a 9 volt battery with a 6 volt resistor and then a 3 volt LED, that should run. That should be the correct current for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's basically protecting the LED from getting harmed. Because what usually will happen is if you put them without the resistor, they'll just and they're done.
Yeah. There goes your 60 pence.
Yeah,
Will it afford that in this economy? I don't think so. I can't. I have fish tanks to pay for.
Alright. This also means that every LED with a different voltage will require a different type of resistor. The website I'm using, I'll probably link it in the description, or if you want to know about it, I'll just give it to you. Has in the description already calculated out the correct resistance for you.
Oh.
If you're using 3 volt or 9 volt batteries or whatever you're doing. So there's a lifesaver there. But
I'm imagining there's a lot of resources on the internet too, right?
Yeah,
They can help you make
exactly.
basic shit these days, right?
Exactly. So just find it on the internet if you want to do more research about it. I'm not gonna explain resistors or how to calculate them for one specific LED. You'll find the information on the internet.
I feel like it's pretty simple if you think about it logically, right? So you buy a resistor. You buy LEDs. You go, okay, there are 2 volt LEDs. I need to run 3 of them. That gives me 6 volts, okay? So we need a 3 volt resistor. No? No? Does it not work like that?
No.
No? What if you're running them all at the same time? Is that not 6 volts?
No.
Or they don't stack?
No, they don't stack.
Ah, see?
Yeah.
There you go, guys.
And even if you're using multiple LEDs, they'll require their individual resistor anyway. I haven't tried this yet. This could probably work. If you're using the same color LEDs, using one resistor for all of them. It could probably work, but I haven't tried it. I just don't want to risk burning them out after having spent a day fitting a model. It's more time, really, and if you've glued it all together, you're never going to get the LEDs out again. So I'd rather spend the extra time protecting the LEDs for the rest of their life and just having to change out the battery when the battery's dead, and be happy that it works. That's really my way of thinking of it.
But yeah, if you want to look up anything like that, though, I'm just going off what I remember from electronics in high school. You can Google that shit. You know, you can make a lot of simple electronics just with Google. It's not hard. So, yeah. And if you have more specific questions, not, what resistor, but yeah, okay, I'll be, thank you for doing the episode, but you didn't answer this for me. Just ask on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, get on the Discord. Don't be shit.
Yeah. The final thing for making a circuit is a switch. Basically an on-off switch. Because if you don't have an on-off switch, you'll have it working definitely, and your battery will run out within the day. That's just the way things work. It's the same if you leave your light on in your car and you lock it and the light's still on. Next day your car will not start. Basically, same
Sure.
principle. So a switch will just make sure that you can turn it off and just have it on for dramatic effects.
And if you're really smart, you can make it something really creative. Like, you can have, like, an ammo box or something on top of your button that you push in to turn it on. Something like that. Or you can have, like, a chainsaw be a toggle switch on a dead guy, Something like that.
Basically, just... There's so many different kind of switches. I use sliding switches because for the knives I could blend it into the mechanism of the look of them. I just spray painted it all lead belcher and on all oil. It looks like any other piece of machinery on a knife, so you wouldn't even notice it. It blends in. So you could, of course, have push buttons that works. You also have push-pull buttons. You have pull button. You have toggles. Whatever you feel is the correct thing for you, use that. For my knives, I have a switch that has the possibility to run 2 circuits on it. So that means that I can run my flickering LEDs into one circuit and my steady color LEDs into another circuit. So they won't interfere with each other. Because you'll have some pollution if you use these kind of LEDs in the same circuit.
Yeah. I mean, good thing to think about, like, for me at least, I would be doing a dry run of this. Like, you go, okay, I want to put this LED inside this fucking tank. Okay, cool. Get one of those LEDs, get some wire, get your battery, your resistor, and, like, just do a chain. If it works, that's great. You can always unsolder it all and go again inside the model. But you then know, okay, this resistor is correct. All that is correct. Like, you're good. And you can actually put it inside your work and have confidence that it's then going to work and not just pop like Obi said the first time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good way to do it is always test before you... Test it after you've finished soldering your resistor, so you make sure that bit is correct. And then before you actually glue anything down, test it again. Just to make sure that it hasn't broken while you're bending in the wires or mounting the LED in. Double, triple check. Just the best way to go. Make sure before you glue it in, it's working. Because you're going to have a heartache. Too is, like,
you could have a dead resistor. Like, components break. You could have a component that's faulty. And imagine going through all that effort, putting it all in, and then you don't realize that, well, you just used a resistor that doesn't work properly. So now you got to yank it all back out. Like, at least test it. That way you know.
Yeah. One thing that I've done a couple of times is... while cutting the legs of the LED, I cut them off a little bit too short, so when I'm soldering on the resistor, it got too warm and it melted a piece of the LED and it just moved it slightly so that it doesn't make contact inside the LED anymore.
Yeah, so it doesn't emit light no more.
Exactly. So it basically ruined an LED. Again, test before you glue it. That's just the easiest tip I can give you, the best tip.
While we're at it, and you mentioned soldering, like you solder too close, how do you solder? Like, I understand the basics of it, but like for someone that doesn't even know what the fuck a solder is, can you explain just quickly like the process of it in TLDR mode so people sort of understand?
Too long, didn't read. It's basically a heat pen that you give solder, which is tin-based, heat from that onto an electronic. The solder will melt and then it will make a connection. So it's basically it's basically creating a connection between an LED and a resistor, or an LED and a wire, or whatever you're connecting.
So basically you're melting a type of metal between two other types of metals to join them and make them an electronic circuit, yeah?
Exactly. The long version of it is it's probably going to be a little bit boring, but I think the process of doing it might be a little bit. It might help you if I explain it a little bit.
Yeah, go, man. I'm always down to learn more.
Yeah. So what you want to do is start off with heating, of course, your soldering iron. Put that ready next to you. Make sure it's not burning onto something. Have like the little holder for it, so you're not burning through your cutting mat, your table, or whatever you're working on. If you've bought helping hands, good. If not, you can use some poster tack or putty or whatever to put your LED and a resistor, for example, ready.
Yep, I'll make your little brother hold them for you.
Yes, it's no danger in this, brother.
This won't hurt at all, young brother.
Yeah. What you want to do also is, before you solder together, is just, if you're putting the LED in a tight corner, is you can pre-bend the legs of the LED into the correct shape where you need it to be. And then you cut it where you need it if you need to shorten it. And then you cut the piece a piece of the leg for the resistor to make it shorter. And then you can join them together. Once you've measured your components that are the correct size, you put them in your putty or your holding hands. You just overlap them so that they're like, say, about 5 millimeters to a centimeter overlapping. Then you're ready to apply the heat and the soldering tin. The solder iron, what you usually do is you preheat the individual pieces individually, and then after you just apply the heat again and then join them together.
So
that's yeah.
Sorry, those two pieces of metal, right? So you have like the leg of the resistor and the leg of the LED. Just so people understand, that solder will just be a blob on one of them until you get them both to the right temperature for it to bleed between them, right?
Yeah,
like, they
exactly.
need to be like roughly the same temperature as the solder is when it's molten for it to actually like grow to it almost. It's really weird. Yeah. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, real good ASMR is watching people solder and fix electronics on YouTube. It's very interesting. So,
that thing that you're describing is called a cold soldering point, which is you've joined them together, but they haven't really joined together, so they're not flowing the electricity. Yeah. So what you do then is just reapply. Just reapply the heat, make sure that it flows all the way over, and it's a solid connection in between. Let it cool off, and then it should be good. Of course, after you've soldered, test it. Because now you've put in the resistor, you can test it, and it will usually work.
One thing that I always felt helped as well when I was soldering, like I said in high school. Say I'm soldering two legs together, like we said, they're crossing in one spot. Instead of just leaving it as a big old blob right there, when it's soldered, I'll tend to kick away the excess up one of the legs slightly, just for tidiness. So it's not all just this big old blob there. It's the same as like when you're doing it with pins on a PCB. You don't just leave it as a blob, you flick up the leg so it's like nice and conical.
Yeah.
It's just sort of good practice. But you'll get the hang of it when you practice a bit more, you know?
It's definitely a good... If it's the first time, you can use the cut-off pieces of the LED to just practice on. Practice soldering two legs together. Now we're not really done here with soldering. What we said before with the shrinking tube, you need to cut off a little piece and make sure that there is no exposed wire or exposed bit. So when you've soldered your resistor, you can also then solder your wire to that resistor. So then you'll have a piece ready. And then on the other leg, you'll solder your black wire, because you're usually going to solder your resistor on the positive leg, the longer leg.
Which will be usually your red wire.
Or usually the red
like
wire,
if you're using a standard battery pack, red will always be positive, black will usually always be negative. Usually.
Exactly. So in that way, once you've put your LED inside and you just have wires running out, you'll know which wire is which function. It'll be the positive or the negative, according to the colors. So once you've soldered your wires to the LED, you slide over your shrinking tube and you shrink it. You shrink the tube so it's nice tight seal, and of course you test your LED again, and then it's ready to mount it. So that's kind of the general workflow. Yeah.
You gotta test it before you mount it, if you know what I mean. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long, tedious process, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be soldering fucking 20 LEDs in an hour, basically, and have it all ready. So the more you practice with it, the easier it'll go.
If it was an easy and quick process, everyone's Warhammer figures would have LEDs in them, and it wouldn't be a special thing. So, like, it's like painting, right? Like, you can knock out an army in a weekend if you're real good and real quick. But then there's people that do micro scratches on metallics or non-metal. Like, those people are taking the extra mile to make their shit extra good because they like it that way.
Yeah.
Now, like, me personally, unless it was a really cool big model and I only have one of them, I probably wouldn't go this far. But that doesn't mean you should.
You
know? Like, I have that weird, is it a Valkyrie or something like that dropship? Not dropship, like the plane. I have that. I want to put searchlights in that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. So when it is on the board, when I do use it, it has engine lights and searchlights. Mm-hmm. It's the only model I want to do it with, but it's cool as fuck. So,
yeah.
You know. But I want to get more into making dioramas with Gundams and things like that. So filament LEDs, stuff like that. That's where it's at, I think.
Yeah. I think the filament LEDs would be just awesome to use as a lightsaber battle.
Yeah. I'm going to completely derail you right now. But all the stuff behind me, anyone that's on the Discord, they know what behind me looks like. I have a big retro TV and a stack of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
That's all going out into my lounge room. And we're having a second lounge room out there. So we have the modern lounge room, and then we're going to have a little retro gaming corner with beanbags and stuff.
Yeah.
Behind me, not only am I going to start some shelving, I'm going to buy another fish tank, right? On a stand, a nice tall one with a pendulum light above it. But this tank is going to be my fuck around and find out tank. I think that's going to be my one I do my Gundams in. I have to do some tests and make sure that they are, like, safe for the fish. Mm-hmm. But I think I want to actually do like an underwater battle between a Gundam and a Zaku on two different levels, and maybe have like a dead mobile suit like partway in the substrate amongst the rocks and that. So as the algae grows, it'll grow across it, and all the fish and that and all the plants and that can just sort of grow and slowly overtake this shit. Yeah. And that'll be behind me.
I like that. That'll be really cool to see.
That's what my brain's brainstorming right now. I might just not do it and do a normal aquascape, but that's what I want to do. I want to test it because I think the idea of having little shrimp crawling all over like a Zaku, is cool. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Great. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to derail the episode. Yes, I did. Problem. That's my job.
I think it's fine.
So, I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine. It's fine. This is the real reason we haven't made episodes. He can't stand to look at me till he's finished.
I'm never finished.
He only looks at me upon completion, you know? when he gives a newt.
When it's time for the wipe off.
When it's newt.
Alright, do you have any questions about this? Is there anything that you're wondering about?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've always wondered is, like, where do you just, like, do you get inspired by this just by looking at a model and thinking, like, I could cram everything in that? Or is it like you see something and then you're like, okay, I want to do it. Maybe see it online. Because the fact that you figured out how to hollow out that fucking tank and put the battery pack is like, that's insane. Where did you get that inspiration? Is it just creativity?
Well, I'm not sure. It's really more of a... It would look more awesome if it actually had LEDs in it, really. That's what got me going to do this kind of stuff. Especially with the knights, because they're already expensive models. Why not just go a little bit further and add something really cool and unique to them? Because
so what you're saying is, your knights and your Warhammer General runs on the same theory as my computer. As in, it's already cool, but LEDs make it cooler.
I guess, if that's what you like. I think my...
Done.
I think it's more of a uniqueness and just do something different with it, really. And prove to myself that I can push this as far as I want to. Which is also why people have been telling me to, make a RC, a drivable Land Raider. And, it's really a cool hobby to do and to try and make something actually drivable. And luckily there is a guy who's done that before me, so I don't have to do it.
You have to do the legwork. That's nice.
Yeah, it's the thing is that making a actual drivable model requires so much more work than just LEDs.
Of course. There's engines, there's servos, there's fucking
exactly.
There's the radio receiver. That's way more advanced.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably could just get a small radio controlled car, shove that fucker inside of a Land Raider.
It's not impossible. That's the thing. The only thing is that the tracks are going to need to be they need to be movable. So you need to design a new set of tracks. You need to design a set of pulleys to make sure that it drives in the end of it. So
why don't you just get a really small car base, like the smallest you can find that will take the weight, and do one of the hover ones. You know the hover tanks, the Primaris hover tanks? You wouldn't even see the wheels.
No. But that guy that's done this on his models, he's made the hover tank actually hover.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
he's playing 5D chess, man. We're over here playing fucking tic-tac-toe with a fucking broken finger.
I mean, it's really a good idea, but the thing he says is the equipment required for it needs you to already be into RC cars, because it's so expensive. Just buying the remote to control it is so expensive. I would probably be able to buy 3 more model kits with just that one and fit them with LEDs.
I don't want to do that.
No,
it's money.
It's too much money. I want to do it at one point for sure. It's definitely something I want to do.
I mean, we could get you a whole fish tank set up for that,
Yeah. But I need to get through all of what I have before I attempt any kind of project like that. I mean, I still have my Warhound that I want to put LEDs in, so until that's done, I'm not going to do anything RC like or get into a whole new hobby again.
Well, I ended up putting up my my Knight Canis. Is that what it is? The Canis Rex, whatever the fuck it's called. I put that bad boy up on Facebook Marketplace because, I've had that thing since before we started this podcast, and I haven't touched it, and it's not even close to being up soon on my desk. And I'm like, I could sell that and put that towards hobbies I'm working on actively at the moment, and just buy it again down the road.
Yeah.
If I feel like I want it when I'm ready for it. So I'm like, just trying to reduce that pile of shame a little,
Yeah.
And not because I don't want to have models to paint, but like I have a combat patrol for Custodies, a combat patrol for Space Marines. I still have some of the Dominus to finish. Like, I've done work, but like, just the more it mounts up, the less you want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's important to sort of... I always got to have at least one Gundam kit there to do it anytime.
Mm.
But I don't want to build up any more Warhammer until I'm ready to paint more, unless it's something specifically for a diorama.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of what I'm moving towards. Like, I want to... we spoke about this off air, but I don't really have anyone to game with over here, like to play with when I'm in. Because I work night shift and weekends, I can't just go to the LGS and actually like play with those guys, because they all play on a Thursday night. I'm at work.
Yeah.
So it's sort of pretty shit like that. So I'm like, well, I think I need to turn this into more of an art project now, rather than army after army after army. Or if I want to do another army, just do kill teams.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to complete my Custodies and my Space Marines. Both of those are going to get 2,000 points.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just going to be... I might do my Stormcaster Tales too, because I have them there. But it's going to be like just dioramas and kill teams.
Yeah.
Like, I have a concept, I can do one squad of that concept, and then that's cool. It's done. I can do that in a month,
Mm.
And I just feel like that's going to be a lot nicer.
I think what my plan is to finish up the armies that I have, and once the armies are finished, 2,000 points for the Custodies, and I've painted up the Space Marines that I have, and I have about 4 more knights to do as well. After that, I just have a bunch of hero models that I have here laid out, and just do hero models, really. Just do special characters.
Is that before or after you finish my model to send to me?
Yes.
That's exactly the answer I was expecting.
It's actually still standing here.
You know what? I actually like it more not having it, because the anticipation's like edging for years,
That's how Mitsun feels.
Yeah, exactly. It's a strategy.
I'm sorry, dog. but it's here. The next one is on my table, so I think that's going to be the next project. Yeah, getting rid of that, so I can finally send them. I feel really terrible about it. I'm sorry, Mitsun. I'm really sorry.
We'll get over it. Here's another thing too. This isn't really a question, but I guess it kind of is. Have you thought of printing off muzzle flashes for your large weapons, sort of like I did for my Dreadnought with my Gundam blade sword, and putting an LED behind that to make that look really cool, like it's firing a projectile and it's lighting up?
I'll do you one more. I actually thought about printing in clear blue resin and replace the coil pack on a plasma gun. So the plasma coil will be lighting up instead of the... I could add a shooting effect as well, but just having the plasma coil glow will be really cool.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't even need to do it in clear blue. You could do it in just transparent clear. If it has good transparency, just have the blue light in there. Like, that would look insane.
I think if I were printed in clear blue, it doesn't need to be on, if you know what I mean.
True.
Then it'll still be a blue hue. If it's not on, it will look a little bit weird. So
gotcha. It just looks like it's not finished otherwise. I understand. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I understand, my friend.
So yeah, I have thought about it. I have definitely thought about it.
Good.
I think that's one of my ideas for the Warhound, by the way. I think he has a plasma gun of some sort that I'm thinking of printing in clear or blue resin.
Nice.
I don't know if I actually got to that yet. I've printed so many parts, but I haven't even started assembling it yet. I need to see what I have and what I'm missing.
Yeah. Before we get on to the next thing, are we done with LEDs?
I think so. I don't really think I have any more information to give. Oh, maybe some tips if you want to have removable weapons on your knights, for example, and still want to add LEDs to your weapons, is that you could use sockets, audio jack sockets, as the connector pin, because
that's a fucking great idea.
Yeah, because the jack, you can just wire two wires onto that, and you can shove that into the arm socket, and then you'll have two wires from that one. So it's basically
like a 3.5mm audio jack, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's genius. The other thing is too, I don't know if you've seen it. I think Green Stuff World sells it, but you can actually buy copper paint and run circuits that way as well, right? Like basic ones.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? So
like, I have seen it. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I've seen a few things. I don't know how great it works, but it's something to look into for science. You can get, like, say, a Yoda model like yours, and have an LED wired up in the hill or whatever. Just have have it there, or have all the wiring under the base, and then you can travel that line of paint from that connector over the whole model and under the base, and then paint over it. Yeah. And that will act as your active circuit. I don't know how well it works, but I have seen it work on the internet.
Yeah.
So that's a thing to look into as well if you're a wizard,
Yeah, for sure. Really, your limit on this kind of stuff is your creativity. For example, my missus asked me to do a couple LEDs for her, and what she asked for was basically a bonfire heating a kettle, which was like a witch's brew inside. So what I use for that is, of course, 2 flickering LEDs, one orange and one red, because that will give sort of the flame fire effect kind of thing.
Rather than a candle, it's an actual fire. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then inside the kettle, I also added a green flickering LED. So and then she made with resin like a surface with bubbles on it, so it looks like it's bubbly and stuff. So really cool. So yeah, like really, your creativity is where you'll find your limits, because there's always something to figure out. Like, for example, if you want spinning barrels, if you want your barrels to light up, you can thin out the insides of the plasma gun so much that it won't cut through the plastic, but an LED will actually show through. So there's always ways to do things, and
and the thing is, like,
be creative.
If you're an active member too of our Discord, like, if you are attempting a project like that and you're not sure what way to proceed, you can always tag Obi and ask him for his wisdom. Like, he might not get back to you on the day, but, like, he will usually get back to you. Like, if you go, dude, I'm thinking about cutting into this for this here, like, do you think that'll work? He'll give you his advice. Like, I'll probably be like, yeah, send it. But Obi is actually smart and will tell you real things. I'm a dick.
Honestly, like finding that kind of solutions, like, it kind of intrigues me in a way too, just to see if I can find you a better way to do it. If there is no better way, I'll just flat out tell you. But if there is, I'll probably just do a quick Google search and see if there is something that might suit your needs.
Now, if we're done with LEDs, I was going to give you an update on my 3D printer. Okay. Fuck that thing, man. That fucking thing makes so much spaghetti, bro. I think I need to get in and spend some more time with it, but I think I need a new hot end. They're renowned for dying, which is like the part on the arm that basically heats the fucking goop up and pushes it through the blood hole. So I think I need a new one of those. Which is really annoying because I want to be a Mandalorian and it's holding me back from my destiny. I get it. Like, I was thinking how much I want to make a plasma pistol as a prop and have LEDs inside of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but like no dice. No dice.
No go.
Because like, yeah. If I get that going and I'm making a plasma pistol, I need that top part made out of clear plastic or blue. I'm gonna send you the STL and be like, Obi, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I haven't started my printer up again after winter. Since clearly it's still snowing, so winter is like 8 months of the year here. So,
but you know what's good? You've sort of bounced out of your winter depression already, and you're not even out of winter, which is encouraging. Because by summer you should be like Super Saiyan.
Well, if I didn't have so many projects around the house, probably yeah. But we'll see how it happens.
I don't know though. I don't picture you going Super Saiyan. I feel like you'd just turn into Knuckles from like Sonic the Hedgehog. With like the dreadlocks and the big knuckles. I feel like that's your ultimate form.
Alright, let's move on to the next part.
Where are we going?
There's there's 2 sections that we have left on this episode, and one is a roast for the podcast.
Okay. I guess we can go there if that's what you want to do.
Yes. I think Norcre's been dying to get his model roasted. He always loves to hear us.
Norcre's been struggling without our attention.
That's what it's been.
I'm trying to see what the face is on this.
It's like an uwu cat.
It is an uwu cat. Okay, you know what? I was going to say, if it wasn't, I'm deducting points. Alrighty, so are we roasting it or are we giving it a critique? Because they're two very different things.
I mean, this model could be a prime example of putting an LED in the helmet. If you see what I mean. I would.
Well,
I would do it in the
face
helmet.
shield is?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. That would look super dope.
Yeah, so I feel like Uwu is just as good though, you know?
I mean, you could have the Uwu light up.
That's true. Light up Uwu always wins.
It would just, for me, not a question asked, I would put one LED in the face and just lead the wire through the model, have the coin cell under, and have just a push button switch on the top. Done.
You know what he's fucked up though? He's done the eyes like vertical crescents. It should be the other way around, because that doesn't say Uwu, that's like N-win. You know?
I don't know.
Bro, can't... Fucking... Norcre, even Uwu weird, bro. God fucking damn it, man. Now look, it's not a bad model, but what I would love to see is a better colour separation. So, like, I feel like the big panels on the chest and the gauntlet and the shit and stuff like that, you should have unified those with a different colour than Leadbelcher. Because to me, Leadbelcher is usually always the mechanical colour, like for the bits that aren't the armour plates. You know, like, you got blue there, you could have done a darker blue, or maybe, it's like a green or something. Just like really changed it up a bit and made it look real cool. And being that it's Mechanicus, some proper rust effects and shit like that would have looked real good. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, your flamethrower, you could have done the whole wash down the barrel thing to make it look good.
Yeah,
the heat treat colours.
The heat treating, yeah. That would have made it a little bit better. Also, is that just straight up Leadbelcher with no wash? Come on, buddy.
It looks like it.
Come on.
Here's my tip for Leadbelcher. And this is because I love high contrast in my models. I actually don't use Nuln Oil on my Leadbelcher. I use watered down Abaddon Black.
Okay.
And drench it. And then I bring it back with aggressive dry brushing or edge highlights.
Okay.
And it looks, especially for something like this, because Leadbelcher, when you lay it down like that, looks so flat.
Yeah.
It's a good colour, but it just looks very flat. So unless you're going to go in with an aggressive highlight of Rune Fang or something like that, that looks very just I painted Leadbelcher and left it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, my recipe for example, for the Knights, is 2 washes of Nuln Oil and then a dry brush of Necron compound. That will brings out the details so much more. Especially with the newer wash, the newer Nuln Oil wash, it's it's not the same kind of effect. So
Isn't it?
no, it's a
What
lot
have they
weirder.
done?
I don't know. It's not the same. I don't like it.
Read.
Yep.
See, here's the thing, Jane's Workshop. Unless you go ahead and sponsor us soon, we're all just gonna swap to Vallejo. Man. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I'm. If my paint pot runs out, I'm ordering the toothing coats. Really.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's
Fair
the way.
enough. I'm still running Vallejo because I have so many of them, and they're easy for me to get around here.
Yeah.
Like, I can just go to the store and pick up Vallejo, and I'm like, yep, cool. And the whites are always good.
Yeah.
Never had an issue. Another thing I will say, Norkri, I love your purple sand. I love that you painted the rim of your base black. But I think some verticality in your bases would make them look so much more interesting. Like, give us some, like, get some cork before you put down your texture, and, like, give us some rock ledges and things like that. You know, because, like, anytime you go for a walk somewhere that's dirty like that, like, it's not going to just be flat dirt with a rock. It's going to be, like, craggy cliffs and, like, divots from, like, explosions and all sorts of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, just play up with the altitude a bit more. And the cool thing is when you do that, you can actually add in some motion into your model too. Like, you could have put him forward slightly more on the left leg with his right leg lifting up onto a higher piece. It's not easy, but if you cut it and modify it... Sorry, I had the hiccups. It can, like, really give your model a look of locomotion rather than static. Like, you know, instead of him looking like he's like, bird gun, he's like, hey, come here, motherfucker. Let's ooh-woo, you know?
Yeah. I, for my shit sandwich, I will say the color choices are alright. Like you said, the separation could be a little bit more. Also, washes would be probably a good help for you, just to get in a little bit more fun details, make them pop a little bit more. But my number one absolute shit from my shit sandwich for you is, why is there fur all over it?
Is there?
It's
Where?
Oh my god, it's hairy.
Hold on. I don't have it on my big screen. Hold on.
It's hairy. It's hairy. Oh.
At least it doesn't look like he dipped in the dirt this time, so I'll give him that. I think the thing is, like, Norkri is definitely improving, but he still looks like he sort of just blocks colours in.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I'm painting, at minimum, I go, okay, what is my base colour, my mid-tone, and my highlight?
Yeah.
So, like, I would have gone, the vast majority of that blue, for me, would have been, like, the high side where it's naturally catching the light would have more white to it for me. Below that would be my mid-tone, below that would be my shadow. Yeah. And then edge highlights of mid-tone, and then edge highlights of the whites in the highest spots.
Yeah.
That, on top of, like, you know, some weathering and stuff, like, would look insane on that model.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's so much flat areas, you could have done so much.
And, like, bigger models like this, they just scream for some edge highlighting. Especially the sharp edges. It just goes it's so easy once you get the tactic in your hand.
On a guardsman, you get away with painting like this quite easy, but on something like this, you can really see the lack of give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
But for a dickhead who struggles with finger painting as a 12-year-old, I think you did alright.
Yes. Yeah, I like the color choices, that's for sure. It's they just need to be a little bit more defined to give it a little bit more of that, you know, punch, oomph. Yeah.
The 1-2 ooh-woo.
Exactly. I like the glow effects on the ooh stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's him roasted thoroughly.
Roasted.
Taco Mania asked us to roast him ages ago, but I think we did that.
We did
It was
that.
too good to roast anyway.
Yeah, we did that.
Goblin. Yeah. Yeah. Artemis Stream posted ooh in that channel. And shame on you, Artemis, for encouraging Norcris behavior. Shame on you.
Yeah.
So that's
Good.
the roast.
Exactly.
That's the roast. Do we have any questions?
No
Is there
questions.
Questions for the podcast?
No.
Oh, probably no one thinks we know anything. Cool.
Well,
That's
I
nice.
think there is. I don't know if we. No, I think we answered that one. The one from Bixen.
Do
We did. Yeah, when if we were defending our planet against another faction and not Dark Eldar, for example. I think we did that.
Yeah. I think I said Tau, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I think I
feel like
said
that's my
Nids,
answer.
or you said Nids. I don't remember.
No, I definitely didn't say Nids. I played Helldivers. I don't like defending against Nids, bro.
Alright, cool. So...
You didn't even know about Malevolon Creek, dude. Come on.
No, I don't.
Look up Malevolon Creek, bro. It's Space Vietnam. Alright. Well, as usual though, we have a little music tip to give, a little album review. Obi, tell people what we're listening to this week.
We're listening to Aborted, which is a Belgian death metal band. They came out with a new album I think last month, named The Vault of Horrors.
It's an interesting album. It's what you'd expect from a band called Aborted. It's very heavy. Can't understand the lyrics at first, but I like that.
It borders a little bit on cattle decapitation kind of thing, but just with a little bit more harsh vocals.
I think the thing that sets cattle decapitation apart from this, I think the cattle decapitation does a better job of having good vocal hooks.
Yeah,
like
and more
just
melodies.
Catchier songs.
Yeah.
They're a bit more memorable. This is good. Like, it's definitely good quality fucking death metal. And they did a song with Shadow of Intent, which I like. Because Shadow of Intent, I'm pretty sure they're the Halo metal guys. You know, I'm just checking. Pretty sure this is them. Yeah, Shadow of Intent. So they started out as a Halo themed band. And I found them ages ago listening to Lorna Shore, and like they're good. I like that they're on this. It's good. It's good death metal. You know, the production is nice. I just I'm much more of a melodic death metal guy. So I do look for that melody and that sort of good chorus and stuff like that. Like, not saying that it needs to be less heavy, but just a bit of melody in the heavy makes me groove easier. You know, stuff like Revocation, stuff like cattle decapitation, that sort of shit. Like, that's more my jam. But this is still tasty. And I didn't really do my homework this week. We only talked about listening to this a couple of days ago. So, you know, I think I'm actually going to withhold my goblins for now. But if we remember next episode, I'll give you my actual goblins. You know, I can give you an initial impression of Goblin.
Yeah.
You know, my initial impression is a good 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go 6 actually, because the production is beautiful. Like, cranked through good headphones. Brutal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good shit. It's not by any means bad. It's just not necessarily right up my alley, you know?
Yeah.
I
know it would that's why I suggested it to you, because I know it would border on what you like. So it might just drag you in enough. And
it probably will, you know?
Yeah.
My problem is with stuff like very heavy music like that, I have this thing where it has to be the one-off exceptionally good bands that pull me in.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a million good death metal bands. But it's only the one or two that are like exceptionally good in a certain way that catches my ear.
Yeah,
that
it'll make you coming back to.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard for me to say, and I'm like that with most bands. Like people are like, oh, you like Lorna Shore, you must love Slaughter to Prevail, and I'm like,
no.
I'm like, oh, but his vocals. I'm like, yeah, but like
that's all it is.
Cool.
Mm.
They all do that. Like he's definitely a beast of a man, but I'm not impressed because it's not hitting out in a unique way enough for me to be like, I love this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, cool, that's good. Like, if you want to put Slaughter to Prevail on at a party or something, like, I'm down, I'll drink beer to it.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not into it on an emotional level, you know? It's not like listening to Pain Remains by Lorna Shore. It's not like listening to Cow Decapitation or anything like that, you know? So, yeah, it's a hard one for me. But it is good. It's just a little out of the realm of where I normally sit, because I am in that mellow death, sort of, that's where I live, you know, like, I love shit like Children of Bodom, I love shit like fucking, you know, like Silosis and that sort of shit. That's my jam. I'm on a math, you know? So yeah, 6 Goblins out of 10, great production, glad you showed me it, love the artwork on the front.
Yeah, for sure.
It's grotesque, but I love the color choices. Like, that neon green font is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig them. They have really, like you said, cool artwork. It's just like an itch to scratch sometimes. Sometimes I just feel so fucking pissed off at the world. I just want to listen to shit like this. And it's just perfect.
Yeah. I get that. How many Goblins out of 10 do you give it? Like, where are you at with it?
6.5 to 7, I would say.
Alright. So we're on the same sort of trajectory with Goblin rating.
It's not, like you said, nothing unique. It's just good death metal. Just doesn't pop out straight away.
I think taking even what bands they are aside, and if you put this album next to Terrorsight by Cow Decapitation, 9 times out of 10 I'll listen to Terrorsight over this.
Me too.
And I'm not even like a long-time Cow Decat fan. It's just like a catchier, better album that scratches the same thing.
Yeah.
The same itch, but with a bit more like, oh yeah, this part I like, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit the same. I kind of like the heavy together with some of the softer melodies. It's just, you know, it needs to be a full circle. You need to have a little bit of the low to have the good, the fast and the high.
Agreed. And just having, like, those good choruses that even if you don't know the words, those melodies get stuck in your head when you're not listening to it anymore. That's when you know it's like, that's good. Like, that's a good riff, that's a good melody. That's where it's at. So, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Now I'm going to go back to listening to my Sabaton.
Christ.
Did you just vomit a little?
I think I did.
Oh no. Do you really want to vomit? Guess who I'm seeing later this year? I'm seeing Windrose.
Oh,
you know the Diggy Diggy Hole guys? Yeah. The dwarf metal guys? Yeah. I'm seeing them.
I mean, it's not my thing. It's not my kind of music, but I can dig
I'm going to be with my people. I'm going to be with my people. I'm a dwarf.
Are you gonna buy one of those inflatable axes and?
No, I'm gonna get up the front and just be like, I'm a dwarf digging a hole, and they're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. So yeah, little sister Hannah hooked me up with the ticket. She's like, hey, I'm drunk. You want to come to Windrose? I'm like, yeah, sure. So she drunk asked me, I drunk agreed, but we're gonna go. So, you know, I'm down. And then we have Unleash the Archers in June or July as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Which is sick. And I'm meeting them, so that's cool. I have meet and greet tickets, which is really exciting.
Nice.
I'm low-key going to ask them to listen to our podcast. Well, they're into D&D and shit.
They are?
So, like, cool. They are. So, like, I'm sorry, can you imagine how cool it would be if Unleash the Archers became, like, community members?
That'll
How
be
cool
awesome.
that would be? That's cool.
Yeah!
Fuck. I'd be like, right, we're getting rid of our intro. Let's use your samples. It's better than us. No.
Oh.
Intro, outro, gone.
I worked so hard for that.
I know, we both did. Actually, you know what, though? When I eventually get my direct input for my computer, I'm definitely going to re-record the outro for sure.
Yeah.
Like, do something completely different, though. I think I'm going to do, like, a really just, like, brutal neck-snapping headbang riff to it. Just like, you know, detune it like a motherfucker, make it doomy and thrash it at the same time. For fun.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that's what the end of an episode looks like. Something like that anyway. But, just a reminder to everyone, you know, Patreon is very welcome. I know it sounds like we're in no position to ask for patrons, since, you know, we haven't put out an episode in a hot minute, but, you know, we still have bills to pay for this podcast. You know, we just had to pay a lot of things to keep this on the air the other day. And to be honest, like, every time we get a new patron, it kicks us up the arse to go and make more content. Like, it really does. We actually lost a few recently, and we're like, we get it, economics are hard, but, like, you know, anything you can give to us, man, we really fucking appreciate it. It supports the podcast, it supports the production, you know, it's gonna get us cameras eventually so we can work towards having a video feed. Like, we are working on so many little projects right now that you guys don't really know about. And we want to get it all going, but it does take that support. So, you know, I don't know. Buy less OnlyFans content and pay for our Patreon, I guess. You know?
Is that a Bix at this?
No. Is Bix on OnlyFans?
He did buy for somebody's OnlyFans, and he regretted it instantly.
Oh, poor Bixer. Oh, see? Switch from OnlyFans to BronlyFans.
Exactly. Alright.
Funny. But, if you can't afford Patreon, that's fine. Come hang out with us in Discord. You know, we're not always in there, but we need a community to have a community. And once the community goes, no one will hang out there anymore. So, everyone get there and hang the fuck out. Play Helldivers, play Fortnite, play, racing sims and beat Obi at them and laugh. You know, whatever you gotta do.
It would be awesome if I could race with people. Maybe they can show me how to drive a car.
I mean, I got time for Forza Horizon after this if you're down.
Yeah, I'll just need to grab some food and talk to my girlfriend because I haven't talked to her all day, basically.
Oh, living the dream. I'm joking, your girlfriend's lovely. I just had to be a smart ass.
Good.
But yeah, until next time, which won't be as far away, remember to crank that amp.
And slay that grey.
We are the Knights of the Hobby Table. Laters, fuckers.